where am I supposed to be?
No, it's here.
This one? This one? Come on, help me out, somebody.
Middle.
This one right here?
Middle.
This one in the middle. Okay. I do sort of. But, turn it that way. Sort of right there. This one over here. Okay. There we go. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
The reason President Obama couldn't say whom he was voting for is you can't electioneer in a polling place. And so that holding of information was you could say it, as he pointed out, outside before he walked in a certain distance from the polls, but you can't do it inside. And he is very cognizant, as a constitutional lawyer and as a politician, that there are rules to be observed here.
And refresh our memory, Carol, has he come back to Chicago to do his voting in previous elections, or has he done it absentee?
He's done both.
Okay.
He's done absentee and he has done this.
It must be a thrill for those folks there to get an opportunity to help the president with his vote. He's clearly a town favorite, a Chicago favorite.
Well, these are his neighbors.
And these are his neighbors.
He's in his own neighborhood. As he pointed out at Chicago State last night, he started at a Catholic church as a community organizer just a couple blocks from Chicago State. And so every place that he was pointing to geographically was in a very close proximity to where he was standing last night and where he is standing now.
He looks somewhat unfamiliar with this particular voting machine. He had to get a little bit of assistance there.
Well, this is the computer, and so they use computers in early voting as opposed to the punch cards. You can do both, as you know.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty user-friendly.
It's very...
They're pretty user-friendly.
But he looks like he's making sure he's not making any mistakes. With these computers, if you do think you've made an X in the wrong place, you can go back and review it and change it as well.
How many races is he casting his vote for here? We mentioned obviously the race for governor, primarily the race for Senate.
Well, you know, there's Sheila Simon against Judy Bar Topinka, and he is an old friend of Paul Simon's family, former U.S. Senator, the late U.S. Senator. He's going to vote in all of the state races. He's going to vote for Congress, and his congressman, I believe, is Bobby Rush.
You're right.
Not Danny Davis. And Bobby Rush and Danny Davis were both at the rally last night. And so he can go through the whole judicial retention ballot. As we all know, a lot of voters skip it. We wish they wouldn't, but they do. And so there's a long list of votes to be cast, if you wish, for retaining judges in Cook County. And there are referenda.
That's right.
And this is actually just the start of a week of political heavyweights coming into Illinois. Understand there's going to be another big visitor tomorrow to the state.
Big visitor. Bill Clinton is in town, and as Bill Clinton likes to say of himself, this big dog can hunt, and he is hunting. He is hunting this election. He is here to do exactly what President Obama is trying to do today, to send a message that do what I do as well as what I say. So Clinton will be here, Joe Biden will be here for Paul Vallis, Chris Christie will be here for Bruce Rauner in Rockford, Michelle Obama was here earlier in the month. I mean, this is a parade of people.
Let's look at this from a national perspective, too. I mean, there's a big fight here to try to maintain leadership in the Senate. There's a lot of people think that that's just not going to happen.
Right.
And, of course, every governor's race is very important. So from a national perspective, how big a deal is this for Obama, even to maintain the Democratic leadership in this state?
It is a very big deal. And one of the things he said last night is, Pat Quinn is real, that's who he is. In saying all of those things, Obama's putting his own credibility on the line with the electorate and with the national press to say, if I can't deliver my own home state with a full court press, then what can I deliver in these 2 remaining lame duck years? And that is a problem. I mean, that's a plague on all presidents' houses when they're in their second term. But it is terribly important to win Illinois from the Obama perspective, and from the Republican perspective, it is very important that he lose and they win. So this is critical mass in Illinois.
And you can see it by who's coming to town.
Yes.
You can see it by all of the attention the Democrats are
Right, and speaking of that, you mentioned Christie coming to Rockford. Can you talk about the geography involved here? The president visits Chicago State on the south side of Chicago. Christie's visit for tomorrow is scheduled to be in Rockford. Talk about the geographical significance there.
Everything that is not Chicago, we end up calling downstate, whether it's north of here or not. So every other part of the state is a question of whether or not you can win more rural counties, more Republican counties, and so all of that is in play, though Rockford also has a substantial African-American population and a growing Hispanic population. The fact of the matter is all of the counties in play, including the 98 that Pat Quinn lost, that Bill Brady won, and still didn't win this election, all of it is important, and so that's why Christie is combing the state, but why Christie is spending a lot of time in Chicago too. The collar counties, the suburbs, are going to be critical for Bruce Rauner.
And Putnam County, you did spend a lot of time down in Putnam County and gave us a really great perspective on how they sort of carry things. How do they feel about President Obama? They voted for him last time, right?
Right, they did, but no, actually they voted, well, yes, they did. But